Whether you're enjoying short-form content on your phone or streaming one of your favorite TV shows online, chances are directors, production studios, and even some of your favorite content creators are using drones to enhance their storytelling. In a world of never-ending timelines and billions of minutes being spent online, it's kind of hard to be unforgettable. But drones give us the ability to see the world from a completely new perspective and a chance to push our creative imaginations outside of the norm. My name is Ime. I'm a licensed drone pilot, content creator, and my love for drones, community, and content creation have allowed me to fly drones professionally in over 30 countries around the world. With that much content, you can imagine it's a bit of a challenge to keep up with everything that's being shot, delivered to clients, or even unfinished timelines and ideas that have taken the backseat to other priorities. Whether you're a freelancer, agency, or content creator looking for more ways to share content that highlights your value and creative expertise, having an organized content folder structure will allow you to easily access your footage and empower you to take action quickly once an idea or opportunity arises. Ultimately, this gives you back more time to do what you love, create. So today, I'm gonna be walking you through how I organize my drone content on my external hard drives and in Premiere Pro, allowing me to consistently turn ideas into content in a fraction of the time. First things first, I'm gonna open up my folder. Now I'm actually gonna be taking some clips from Miami in the summer, and that's what we're gonna be using today to upload into Premiere Pro and organize in a way that's gonna be easily accessible, and we're gonna end up calling that timeline for future use. So I've identified my folder right here. This is actually one of my external hard drives, Miami, Florida. I can see right there. If I double click Miami, Florida, you'll see that there are a bunch of folders here that I use for every single project in my template. Today, we're going to be focusing on folder number 2, which is media. And this is where I keep all of my digital assets like photos and videos, drones, everything. This is where everything lives. We'll talk about these photos in the future, but today we're going to be focused on number 2. So I'm going to click on media. And as you can see here, I'm going to minimize this, but as you can see in this folder number 2, media, there's footage, proxies, BTS, music, SFX, promotions. These are all assets that kind of make up the stories and timelines and final products. But again, today we're going to be focused on importing that footage to Premiere Pro. So we're going to click on footage. And as you can see here, I have a lot of different cameras, but for me, camera B is my drone footage. So anytime I'm looking for drone footage, camera B is going to be my reference. So as you can see here, camera B, drone footage, then you have camera B photos. So I know just from the jump, if I'm going to be looking for drone video, as you can see here, this is going to be my go-to. And then of course, hey, maybe I'm looking for some photos. I also have them loaded here, and we can just see a quick preview. All right. So going back, I've identified where my clips are. So I've taken these clips off of my external external memory card for my drone, and I've imported them to this camera B folder. And then now we can actually start to import these into Premiere Pro. All right, so let's go. We'll close that up. I'm actually just gonna minimize this window. We'll open up Premiere Pro. And one of the easiest ways to just save some time is by having templates. And if you're interested in this template, just leave a comment below and I will give you a link so you can download this for yourself and you can customize your file structure. Okay, so I'm gonna open project and I'm gonna open that very template that I referenced. And it's right here, it sits on one of my external hard drives. So anywhere that I go in the world, if I'm starting a new project or I have a new idea, I can come here. So I'm going to click on that 2022 project template. It's going to open up Premiere Pro 22. And now again, whether you're using Premiere Pro 2022 or maybe another version, your screen may not look like this. But again, I have a template for this as well. If you're interested, just let me know in the comments if you're interested, and I'll be more than happy to make this available. But nonetheless, when I open this template, and this is going to be the same thing that I use for every single project, you'll see here that I have folders that are already pre-named. So media is what we're going to be focused on. Again, footage. I now want to be able to upload my footage from my external hard drive to Premiere Pro. I've clicked on that folder here. I'm gonna right click in that folder and press import. I'm gonna go back to where all of my Miami footage is stored. I'm gonna go to Miami, media, footage, camera B. Again, is my drone footage. I'm gonna click camera B. And then instead of actually clicking these clips individually, I'm just gonna select the folder and press import. And just like that, all of my drone files from my external hard drive in this Finder are being imported now to Premiere Pro. Great. Okay. So I'm gonna put this in a list view just because I like to see the details here. But if I scroll down, you'll see, perfect. All of my clips have been imported. Now, there are these like SRT files. I'm honestly not sure what those are used for, but let's just get rid of those. I'm gonna type in SRT in the Finder. And I'm gonna select all of these and I'll just put clear. Okay, I'm gonna X out of that search. And now I have all of my clips. Now, one of the things that I like to do, because I like to edit in chronological order, these metadata columns, I really like to have that sort of visual data that I can see. Okay, so I started shooting at 2:39 and then I ended the day about 20 minutes later. So this is a really good indication. Let's say the creation date from Z to A, if you will, 2:54 to 2:39. This is backwards, but I always like to edit, going with the clock or with time. And you can also see in the file names here, 198 going up to 222. All right. So now that I've got my footage here imported to Premiere Pro, what I'm going to do next is save my project. I'm going to save as, not save, but save as. I'm going to save as, and on my external hard drive, I also have a folder for project files. I'm going to click on that project file. I'm going to wait for it to open up and I'm going to save this as Miami. So let's give it a few moments. I'm going to click on Premiere Pro project files. So this is literally where each timeline that I've ever done, this is where it lives. Okay, so this is going to be more personal work for me. I'm going to go down to the year 2022 and let's just put Miami, Florida. And then I'm just gonna put the date, July 2022. So no matter when I come back and look at this folder or when I'm trying to find a specific timeline, I'm usually searching for the location and the date. Of course, there's other details that I can add here that's gonna make it more easy for me to find, but hey, I'm looking for Miami drone footage, right? Let's just sound out that sentence. I'm looking for Miami drone footage. So I'm gonna name this Miami, and I'm gonna name it for July. I'm gonna save that to my external hard drive. Perfect. And as you can see here on this project title, the name has actually changed. Okay, so let's get a clean view. I'm gonna get rid of that. And now, since my files are imported, I am now ready to go through these clips and actually make my selections for the best clips that I wanna use in the future. Now, that's called culling. So under my cull folder, I've created templates or template timelines for different type of aspect ratios. So because this is, I believe this is actually 5.1K footage, I'm still gonna edit this on a 4K timeline. But what I wanna do here, instead of using this timeline from the template, I'm actually gonna right click, I'm gonna duplicate, and because I'm just calling the drone footage today, I'm gonna call this Miami drone footage call. Okay, so this is gonna be the actual title of my timeline, which I'll reference for future clips when I wanna do edits, when I wanna create something, or when I have an idea, or maybe even when a client asks for footage. So I'm gonna click on that, and as you can see, this template is gonna open up a timeline. And within this template, I've just added an adjustment layer, whether I wanna do color corrections or whether I wanna name a file, but this is actually embedded within this template. So this is great. So now that I've got my timeline open, I'm ready to go back to my footage and start culling. Culling is the process of selecting your best clips that you've shot. It's really weeding through all of the raw content and getting those selections into a timeline that you can hopefully use in future projects or ideas that come to mind. Okay, so we're gonna go back to my media folder. I'm just gonna click the drop down instead of double clicking. We're gonna go on footage. And then once I get to my July 9th Mavic 3 videos, I'm gonna double click that and it's gonna open up these, 12 clips? So we have 12 clips to go through, which is, should be pretty straightforward, but I'm just gonna start with 198. Okay, now you'll notice that I'm not in full resolution just because I don't want my computer to work that hard. So I'm knocking it down to 1.8, but this is essentially where the magic happens. So from the clip from the beginning to end, if I scroll a little bit, I can start to kind of see, okay, this is one of those kind of rising shots. And then I could see that I think I like this one. I mean, this seems pretty smooth. If we just play that, I'm really looking for 5-second increments of drone footage. Okay, there's a little bit of a jerk there. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm gonna press N to say, hey, this is where I want to start recording or start capturing this clip. And when I get to a point where I think, okay, this is good, I think I'll stop. I'm gonna press space just to stop the timeline, and I'll press O on my keyboard. And one of my favorite shortcuts in this process is the comma key. This is actually gonna say, hey, I'm gonna take this portion of the clip and drag it to this timeline. So I'll press the comma key on my keyboard, and as you can see on my timeline, Miami drone footage called timeline, this is what I have. So this seems to be a nice 6-second clip of, I believe this is Wynwood, downtown Miami. So that looks pretty good to me. And now it's time to work on the rest of this clip. Still on clip 198. Let's see what else this has. Okay, so it looks like I'm kind of panning a little bit to the right. A nice shot of Miami, a nice shot of the skyline. There's a lot of construction going on. And I think that's good. I mean, it seems pretty smooth. There was no jerking or anything like that. Again, I'm gonna press comma and drag that down. And as you can see, I'm starting now to build a timeline of my favorite clips. Like, even though these two clips are from the same actual file, I just split those up into 2 shots that I think are pretty good to use. Great. So we'll repeat that process for the next clip. I'm going to click on clip 199. Nice. Okay. So yeah, it would have been good. I'll start playing it, but that little jerky, we don't like that. Super unprofessional. So I'm going to see what's going on here. So moving pretty slow. But I'm looking at this sort of yellow thing right here, and I'm noticing that it's getting a little bit closer, so I can tell there's movement going on. So what I want to do, I think right here, the total length is 17 seconds, but I think right in the middle is where we start to get some good kind of cinematic shots. So I'm going to let that play. Looks like a beautiful shot of Miami. I think that's good. I'm going to press a space bar just to stop it. I'm going to press O, and then I'm going to have a little bit of space here just because I want to let myself know that, hey, this is actually from a different angle. And I'm going to press comma just to throw that on the timeline. And as you can see here, we already got 2 clips that can kind of tell the story of what a nice afternoon in Miami looks like. So we're going to do that for the rest of the clips. I'm going to speed this up. All right, so as we are rounding up here, this is actually probably good to know. This is actually one of my favorite shots, just looking at it, just raw. This is some really good color. I think we're gonna stop. Looks like the speed of the ascending change. So it's a 2-second clip, but hey, one of my favorite clips. You know, this is something that we could definitely add in the portfolio. But nonetheless, because that's my favorite clip and I have this short key enabled, but I'm actually gonna label this a red clip or a rose, if you will. And this is just an indicator to me that, yo, this is a good shot. So because there's only 12 clips, I'm gonna go back to my timeline here. I'm gonna scroll through and just kind of check, man, are there any shots here that I think are worthy enough to put in an upcoming reel, or, you know, just a really different perspective. And I really like that one. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark that as rose. Boom. This is just indicating again that, hey, this is a really good shot, nice perspective. This is really cool. I think this kind of panoramic using this telephoto lens and the DJI Mavic 3, that's dope. We got another angle here, which I think is cool. And actually I like that one too. I'm gonna mark that. And also you see I'm not actually clicking right click and dropping down to the rose. I actually have a shortcut key, which for me is Command and 2, and that just turns any clip rose. And of course, if I press 3, it'll turn it green. 2 for rose. I believe 4 is 10. That's for B-roll. But again, we'll talk about customized shortcuts in a future video. But nonetheless, I'm really just marking the clips that, hey, these are definitely fire, and you know, you might want to think about using these. This is dope. I like that entry shot. This is a nice, I think this thing's a nice ascending shot. Just gonna mark that, and nice, cool. So, I mean, out of the 12 shots, we've cut them up. We've made our best selections. And as you can see here, we actually have a nice timeline. So even if I wanted to pull together, you know, a short Instagram reel or put something on YouTube, just showing a 30-second kind of downtown Wynwood in Miami, hey, at least I know I have my clips here that I can work from. So I'm gonna extend this. And as I mentioned before, adjustment layer. So I put this adjustment layer on here. If you want to make an adjustment layer, all you have to do in Premiere Pro, you're going to go down to this, looks like a folder with a little, the corner is folded, but you can create an adjustment layer, press OK. You can see it here. You can call that just title. You call it whatever you want. But how I like to use adjustment layers is just a visual kind of notification on my timeline that, hey, this is downtown Miami during golden hour. So downtown, Miami, golden hour. So if I'm working with the specific timeline on other projects, then I know for sure that, you know, any clip under here is going to be downtown Miami. Okay. Now, again, that's completely your preference. I know people that, you know, even use markers. So if I press M on the computer, actually, we're going to do add a marker. Oops. That's not working. I'm going to push M. That brings up a marker. And I believe if you hold Option, so I'm on a Mac, if you hold Option and extend that, you can actually say here, edit marker, you can name it. You could just say downtown Miami. So there's a few ways, but again, when you're dealing with multiple clips and, you know, just a lot of data, a lot of footage, for me, what works is making sure that I can actually read and say, okay, well, anything under this adjustment layer is going to be drone footage, right? Or if I'm looking at the timeline, I can look at this marker and say, okay, everything under here is going to be downtown Miami drone footage. And just for me, I like to indicate that the adjustment layer is drone footage by just choosing Mango. You can choose any color that you like, but that's just what works for me. So anytime I open this on any project, I know that, hey, okay, this is drone footage, and everything below here is going to be the best clips that I've selected. Great. So Now let's say I'm gonna go back out to the project folder. I'm gonna close this panel and just save my project. I'm always auto save is on, but I always like to auto save. And I'm gonna go back here and say, hey, now I've got these 12 clips. I've got these really dope clips. Now it's time for me to make an edit that I want to share online. So I'm gonna go to my edit and deliverables folder. I'm gonna go and click that sequence drop downs, go to my template folder, the same thing as I did for my culling process. And as you can see here, I have a template for a 4K landscape edit. So same thing, I'm gonna click, I'm gonna duplicate, it'll create an additional, the same settings, the same timeline. And I'm gonna go ahead and call this Miami 30-second edit. Cool, we'll remove that copy. Nice. Okay, and I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna move it out of the template folder and into deliverables. I'll close this up. So anytime I open my project, I can see, hey, I started this idea or I had this idea. Here's the title, here's how long it is, and here's the aspect ratio. So let's go ahead and open that up. And here is, for me, honestly, where the magic comes into play. So because I have a lot of, at least on this computer, I have a lot of real estate. I have my Miami 30-second edit that we just created from my template folder. I'm gonna push the left click on my mouse. I'm just gonna drag it down here to the bottom. Now I can see two timelines at the same time. I have my best clips here, and then I have my timeline in which I'm actually gonna edit. Now, as you can see here, I have the rule of thirds kind of guide here just to kind of guide me through. So that means every time, let's say I'm going from timeline to timeline. So let's say I just drag this down here on this timeline, I can see, hey, okay, my rule of thirds is here. And if I need to adjust that clip, whether the rotation or whether the scale, these guidelines are gonna help me do that. But for all intents and purposes of this demonstration, I'm gonna X that out and we'll just leave it here. So for me, again, I only wanna work with the best clips. And what's great about culling your timeline in this way is that you can legit just drag and drop all of your best clips. And really it's how you want to mix it up, right? I haven't added any music yet, but even if I just wanted to create a, what is this? This is 30 seconds already. Let's just play and see what happens. And this is without any music. All right. I mean, 4 different angles, just like that. Okay. So I'm actually going to go ahead and undo this 1, 2, 3, because first I want to find some music. So let's get out of there. So I'm going to put some music on my timeline. I'm going to go back into my media folder, and my media folder is music. I'm going to click on music. And I actually don't have any music that's loaded here, but I can import some from my computer. So I'll just go to my music folder. That is not gonna work. Wow, okay. So Cafe Mornings. Nice. So let's import that. And again, I'm only looking for a 30-second edit. I'm gonna go ahead and take this file. I'm gonna import it to my timeline. And the beautiful thing about Adobe Premiere Pro is that you can actually remix this into a 30-second clip. So I'm gonna enable remix. Gonna come over here. And on my target duration, I'm just gonna say 0, 0 here. And I'm gonna put, let's just put 30 seconds and see what magic Adobe comes up with. So as you can see, 30 seconds on the timeline, that's actually where it ends. And let's see. Yeah, I kind of like that. Nice. Okay, cool. So This beginning was kind of weird to me, so I'm gonna just cut that out and let's see. Bam. Okay, so that's where we want to intro. So now, and again, this could be for any song, any type of timeline. All you have to do at this point is really drag and drop where you want these clips to fall in the timeline. And this is really the magic. This is how you cut down your editing time. You have a visual representation of all of your clips. You've marked which clips are super dope that you know you want to use. And it's just really a matter of you and your creativity exploring that, where you want to place these on the timeline. So even though they're in chronological order, you know, I really want people's jaws to drop, you know, within that first, 4 seconds. So I'm going to go back to one of these clips and let's see. I think this is a really cool clip for an intro. So let's try that. Bam. Okay, cool. Let's hit it with something nice. So let's get 2 seconds. I know that clip on the end is like one of my favorites. So bam. Okay, next clip. Let's find another clip that is going to complement that. I like to go kind of, I like to transition from a wide shot to really close shot. It's just more dynamic that way. I'm going to go back and trim a little bit of this off. I think we could cut that. So now, we have these kind of, 3 seconds, just editing to the beat. Boom on that intro. And let's find out what else we can use. So let's bring them out a little bit. Bam. This is pretty dope. Did we use this already? I don't know. I think we did. Okay. Nice. That's okay. I mean, I like the ending. So we could just trim that even though it's not red. It's okay. And then the money shot, one of my favorite, it was the intersection clip. That's pretty dope. Yeah, I like that. Let's see. And then let's do this right here. Nice. And we're getting to the end of the song, which is okay. And let's go to try and find just a unique perspective. I think this is pretty cool. We got that rising shot. See some construction going on. Boom. Nice. And just like that, I'm going to go ahead and add an effect for cross dissolve just to fade out. And we're going to go ahead and save our work. Then let's see what that looks like. I'm going to X this out. Let's take this down. My computer's working a little hard here, and I'm not using proxies. just like that, we have an edit. Now, again, I was aiming for 30 seconds, but because this is just really stock footage, I'm gonna be putting this out to really let people know on the internet, really what my capabilities are. I want them to be able to see that I can shoot smooth cinematic footage, downtown skylines, and I really have the ability to capture different angles. So before I export here, I'm gonna go back and you can see there's these little black lines here. I'm sorry that this is pretty small for you, but there's these little black lines here that I wanna fix. So I'm just gonna bump this up because this is 5.1K footage. I'm gonna bump this up, I believe it's 107. That looks good to me. Okay. Nice. Okay. Now, I actually like this. This is probably one of my favorite shots. So I'm actually going to do a quick color grade here. My window, I'm going to open up Lumetri color. And I'm actually going to put this in full resolution, basic color correction. Again, this is a pretty quick edit. I'm not, submitting this to Netflix or anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and let the Adobe Premiere Pro gods do their work. And it doesn't look bad. I think maybe a little bit more vibrance. Let's bring some color on, some saturation. I'm liking the way that looks. And let's see how it adjusts on the other clips. Because this is an adjustment layer, it means everything below this is going to be affected by the changes you make here, right? So if I say, hey, I don't want to see these effects, I want to see the before and after. There you go, not that much. A little slightly change in blue, but let's just make sure that it looks good. Good enough for me. Perfect. All right. So now we got a 23-second clip, 4K footage of Miami. I'm ready to put this out into the world. I'm going to go ahead and export this. But media file, I actually say, hey, I want to save this for all of my edits that I'm putting out to the world. I have this creative folder files, creative cloud files. I'm going to go to exports. And for you, this may be on your desktop, right? This may be on another hard drive, excuse me. But nonetheless, I'm gonna put this under my, my portfolio, because this is a part of my drone portfolio. And I'm just gonna name this Miami 30-second downtown, or Wynwood, Miami 30-second edit. And again, the titling for me is important because I may meet someone and says, hey, I was in Miami, summer last year and I got this drone footage I would like to show you. And if I'm trying to find that, if I'm trying to search through my folders or just even use the search bar to look up the name, I'm probably going to enter Miami first, right? So I want to be able to, how can I access these clips easily and just logically thinking, hey, what would I search for? Miami, Wynwood, Miami drone footage. So we'll just save that and we will export. And that, my friends, is how you organize your footage in Premiere Pro to create super simple, straightforward edits like these. If you give yourself the ability to create content consistently, you will get more jobs. People will start noticing your work. You'll start to get more and more calls, whether it's for licensing, whether it's for flying you out somewhere to shoot. But your ability to push out your content and not making it difficult. I know editing could be a frustrating process, but it's only frustrating if you don't have a process, if you're not organizing, you spend time looking for footage. So if you organize your footage in a way that can save you that time, I can guarantee you, you can get back to doing more of what you love, which is flying, which is creating, which is building your business. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope this helped. If you're interested in the templates, anything that I use, drop a comment below, and I will be more than happy to send you a link where you can download and start using immediately. Stay safe, stay creative, and I'll see you in the next one.